Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Syllabus Show. I'm your host, John Shikoda, and I'm joined by
Luke Young.
And today's syllabus for today, we're going to talk about the college football weekend. Kind of a crazy weekend for everyone. Any ranked team, really. Also, the madness that happened along with just the games and outside of the games. We got some good news being a Bears fan. Our stupid coach finally got fired. And then we're probably going to touch on Bradley and college basketball.
Yeah.
But first, I feel like the most important thing people are still talking about, and it's Wednesday?
Yeah.
Is just the fighting that and the madness.
So many fights
that happened. The big one that stuck out that I feel like it started the trend for the day was the big noon kickoff game, the Michigan-Ohio State, which, by the way, Ryan Day should be fired.
I'm surprised he's still around, honestly.
For losing that game when that team couldn't throw a pass over 5 yards?
Yeah.
I understand the Michigan quarterback, right? He had cancer. He's a walk-on and he had cancer or something.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So, I'm not taking
Davis Warren?
Yeah. I'm not taking away from him, but they should have walked that team down.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And that's the thing with Ryan Day. Since he became the head coach, he hasn't beaten Michigan, which for any Ohio State fan, you can win a national championship, and if you don't win that game, it doesn't mean anything to you, because in theory Michigan still beat you guys, and that's the biggest games of the year for those rivalry games.
Yeah.
But so for the people who are listening and who don't know, Michigan won, and then they stabbed their flag in the middle of the fields, kind of like what Baker did. But this is kind of I felt like that. Well, Saturday was the first time we saw that since then.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it wasn't that big of a thing.
Yeah.
And then for some random reason, everyone just started doing it over.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of out of nowhere. I was just sitting down and watching TV, and I just seeing all these posts about there's this huge fight, and people are getting pepper sprayed, and they're pulling the flag out of the field. It's oh my gosh, this is insane. You watch the video, you see 3 Michigan guys go up there
crying,
and just
literally
and they take the flag and just stab it into the ground, and then what's his name, the 33, the defenseman for Ohio State, I don't know his name, but he went up and grabbed the flag, pulled it, and then some Ohio State employee, I don't even know if he was a coach, he just grabbed the pole and ran away. It was so funny. And then they all just kind of started throwing some heat, and I don't know, it's interesting to see college students fight. You don't see it very often, and usually a lot of them get suspended, and then they get in trouble with university, the NCAA, and all that stuff. But I wonder what type of repercussions are going to come of this, because there's so many people involved.
Yeah. What they've done so far, I feel like there's going to be more coming. Is they just for the Michigan Ohio State one, is they find each school $100K.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be more.
Yeah.
I think they're going to break it down to, because now that these guys got NIL money, they're going to find them some sort of money, I feel like.
See, that's this is a whole all new territory, because before you couldn't find student athletes.
Exactly.
I mean, could you? Maybe you could, but I don't know. I feel like the programs more got fined than
because they're people still thought of them, but I feel like they're gonna definitely fine. I mean, it happened in the NC State game, the Florida State game, the Arizona State. Even though Arizona State stabbed their pitchfork, not their flag, I guess.
And then the mascots were fighting too. Did you see that? That was awesome. That was fake, but it was still funny.
Still funny because of all the madness that happened.
Now the Arizona State mascot was that the? I think it was the Arizona State one.
I think it was.
Some bombs.
I think it was. Yeah.
It's in good hands.
I don't know. I don't want to say that this was good for college football because it gave them publicity, but it's not the publicity you want.
Yeah.
Because it looks like you don't have control over your players, which if I'm a parent and my kid's going to Ohio State, any of these schools, you're not going to want your kid to be get potentially maced after a football game.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
That's just not something that you want your kid to do, or that to ever happen to anyone. Mainly,
Yeah, they were lucky that this game was at Ohio State. Otherwise, all of the Michigan students would have rushed the field, and there would have been a bigger fight. And I don't know. There's a saying like all publicity is good publicity, but I don't know. I agree with you on this one where I don't think the NCAA wants to see all this fighting and like students going at each other and like all that stuff. But good competition is good for a sport, but I don't think that all this like disrespect of stabbing flags into people's fields is good at all, because I don't know, that's kind of disrespectful to like everything that sports is supposed to be. It's supposed to be competitive, but there's supposed to be a level of respect that you have even with your biggest rivals. And I don't know, all the stuff we saw this weekend I think breaches a lot of that respect.
Yeah. Like I think I was watching, I think it was maybe First Take I was watching, and they were talking about this like rivalry games are good games. They're always, no matter if a team's ranked, like we saw it this week, ranked. It doesn't matter if you're ranked, but it's always going to be a closer game. And the fact that like what they were saying was you lost the game and then you want to fight them. You're being a sore loser in a sense.
Yeah, losing and then fighting is just not.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah,
it's not a good look.
Should not be a thing. Yeah.
And I get, yes, they placed it on your logo saying, this is their field, but they beat you.
Yeah, and on your home turf.
On your home turf.
You're going to show some fight during the game.
That's what everyone is saying. Like, I'm not saying what they did was right. I'm saying Ohio State's kind of, you're not in a win-win, like you're in a lose-lose.
Yeah.
You lost the game, which is one of the loses, and then you just swing and go crazy on these guys.
Yep.
When, okay, maybe pushing and shoving, but this was an actual fight.
People were throwing punches.
Exactly.
I always think it's so funny with football players when they're fighting, they don't like take their helmets off because they know like they'll protect themselves, but you're throwing like a full-on punch into metal.
Exactly.
Like at least in hockey, like they take their gloves off, take the helmet off, get everything ready. Like I'm not saying like fighting should be in football, but like if you're gonna throw a punch at some dude, might as well take your helmet off and like actually have a real fight.
Especially when it's football, when like everyone views all these football players as like jacked athletes who like don't feel pain.
Yeah.
And you're covering your face.
Yeah, did you see in the Auburn Alabama game when those two guys on the sideline were like they made a tackle and they went right into like the Alabama sideline?
Yeah.
Those are cool. Like I like it when they like take the tackle a little further like into the sideline.
Exactly.
As long as nobody gets hurt. I think a little like.
And then it also makes it like I was about to say, it makes it more. Now you want to beat these guys even more because they're rubbing and obviously Alabama did, but
yeah.
I also kind of want to talk about with college football, who do you think is in and out?
Yeah.
So right now, a lot of people are saying Miami, South Carolina.
They lost too, didn't they?
Yeah, Miami, South Carolina, and there's one more. Somehow Alabama is supposed to. A lot of people are saying it's supposed to get in. They're getting in. I don't know how you can put a 3-loss Bama team who lost to an unranked Vanderbilt as the number 1 team in the country over, like I know Miami or even South Carolina has had good losses and they've played a good year. I don't think they're going to make it this year, but I don't know how you can put Bama over Miami, who's they've had 2 losses, but it's Bama's losses. You lose to an unranked Vandy team. And you lose to Oklahoma at Oklahoma, but you didn't just lose; you got embarrassed. You lost 24-3, and then the other one, what was that? Georgia they lost? No,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So like Georgia, whatever. But those 2 unranked losses,
let me look.
I know they lost one more. It was either to Georgia or maybe it was Texas. Did they play Texas this year?
Let me look.
But even then, that's already 2 bad unranked losses. Like. Yes, Miami's lost to unranked opponents, but at least they're actual games.
Bama lost to Oklahoma, Tennessee, and
Tennessee.
Vandy.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
So, like, Tennessee, okay, sure. But Vandy and Auburn are inexcusable.
Yeah.
That's why I personally think Miami should be in there. I feel like the committee does. I mean, we saw this last year. I don't really know. I wasn't on a side with the Florida State-Alabama thing last year.
Yeah.
But I feel like Alabama definitely got a benefit just because it's Alabama. And I feel like if they make the playoff, it's just because they're Alabama.
Well, if you got to think about these two different tournaments differently. So last year with the 4-person and all the years previously, they wanted to put teams in the 4-person who could make a run to actually win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like the goal for a lot of these teams is like it's a victory season if they make the 12 team. So they have a lot more wiggle room to like put in teams who like say Bama, who probably doesn't have a shot to go win the whole thing because of teams like Oregon or Texas, Penn State, all those teams. They don't have a chance, but you still put them in there just because that like they deserve that recognition, which they wouldn't be able to. Like say like last year, Florida State, no matter what happened to Jordan Travis, would have been in the 12 thing, the 12 team. But since they didn't have a chance to win the national championship, they didn't deserve to be in the 4.
Because I mean. Florida State with a healthy Jordan Travis, I think
they were undefeated.
Competes with top teams. But
but he tore his ACL. So
his leg literally.
He broke his leg.
Literally went.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't think they would have beat Michigan.
Yeah.
That Michigan team, even though I don't like Michigan, that was one of the best college football teams ever.
Yeah. They were cheating. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Just kidding.
Well, that's for all the Michigan fans. I don't want to give them anything. I don't like them. But I feel like they just give so much benefit of the doubt. Like when in theory, I really do think Arizona State, no matter what happens, I feel like in the Big 12 championship, unless actually if they lose to Iowa State,
they're 10-2.
I think Big 12 might be a 1 bid. Although Arizona State has looked good and they beat BYU. Like, they've had big wins. It's just, I don't know. I think the committee's going to favor the SEC and the Big Ten, honestly. Yep. You said Penn State earlier. This may be a hot take, but I think Penn State's frauds. I think they always are under Franklin.
Yeah.
They can never win the big game. I think they're going to get absolutely dismantled
by Oregon.
I think Oregon's going to run through them. Ohio State, they don't deserve to be in the Big Ten championship after that game to Michigan, but it would be a way better game if Ohio State was there because we saw earlier in the year they can compete with Oregon.
Yeah.
So Ohio State's going to make the playoff. Like, there's no shot they won't because they only have, 2 losses? Yeah,
Ohio
2.
State?
Yeah. 2 losses, 1 to the best team in the country and 1 to Michigan. But it doesn't matter because they showed in the game that they played the best team in the country. They were, a timeout away from kicking a field goal and winning the game?
Yeah.
If, Will Howard...
a few yards,
yeah. So... That's what I think about this Big Ten championship. I think I may get some hate, some backlash from you. I don't know. I think Indiana's not legit.
I mean, they haven't played anybody, and the one time they did,
they absolutely destroyed.
But, yeah.
So we'll see.
I don't know.
I think if they play, either anyone from the Mountain Wests, either Boise State or UNLV, I think they lose that game. I think Boise State runs through them because Genty is,
I mean, they beat Michigan. I guess it's not really that valid,
but they barely beat them, too. It was a close game.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I mean, I feel like the reason why this 12-team playoff was made was because of this. You like that. Remember when UCF went undefeated that one year, and everyone was like, "Put them in the playoff."
Yeah,
but obviously they weren't going to.
Yeah. I mean Indiana's hardest game so far, outside their hardest win has been Michigan, and they got rolled by Ohio State, and they barely beat Michigan.
Yeah.
So it's a cool story, but I don't think they'll be in the top 25. They'll probably get beat by somebody in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. I think because that's why this was made for those teams that the mid-major, the smaller, bigger conference teams that like Arizona State, like these random teams that have random breakout years. That's what this college football playoff, this new format was made for.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really good for like you said, Boise State to how good is his team compared to
Boise State is.
I mean, they had the best player in the country. So
and I mean, it was really early in the year, but they played Oregon.
Yeah,
that was a good game. If Boise State learns how to kick a field, I think they lost by a field goal or a touchdown or something. If they just learned how to do, I forgot exactly because it was week 2 or something. Yep. Genty went off on that game, so
he goes off in every game.
So I feel like when you have the best player in college football or one of, I think. I'll say this, what I have to say about the Heisman after this, but I really do think Boise State's legit.
Yeah.
I think that they can mess up some of these.
It'd definitely be a good fight for anybody.
I totally agree. I also think SMU, not a lot of people are talking about them. I mean, we'll see in the ACC championship game because Clemson, no one's kind of talking about Clemson this year, which is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But they also didn't have a great year last year, and then this year I don't think they've played too many people.
Well, they got destroyed by Georgia in week 1.
Exactly. Then they played South Carolina, lost to South Carolina, but got in because Syracuse beat Miami.
Yep, and Syracuse is 23.
So
yeah, Syracuse went from non-ranked to 23 because they beat Miami.
Yeah, which is, I mean, Syracuse, Kyle McCord has looked really good at Syracuse. I bet you Ohio State's, I mean, Will Howard is not bad at all. Oh, another team. Sorry, I'm keep on thinking of other teams that I think is fraudulent is Notre Dame. I don't think they're good. They're good, but like they're not. What are they, number 4?
Yeah,
I don't think they're number 4 in the country good. I think they're going to get beat by a Boise State team or something like that. I don't think they're, because whenever they play these good teams, like I don't know.
they did pretty. The USD game was really fun watching. The USC quarterback throw back-to-back pick sixes to end the game. That was pretty wild.
I mean, if you think about that, they were up. Well, were they up by 1 possession when he threw the first one?
Yeah.
So like,
they were driving down the field to try and tie the game, and
exactly like they based like the score says otherwise, but
yeah, it was a
close game against a USC team who's like not too great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I also just don't like Notre Dame. Maybe that's why I'm saying it, but I just don't think they're a great team. Yeah, who do you because now I'm kind of interested now to see who you think. Who do you think is going to win the, like, I know there's no official bracket
for college football?
Yeah, but since it's you're starting to kind of see like it's conference championship weekend, so you're kind of starting to add the pieces.
Yeah.
Who do you think will win?
I don't know. I mean, Oregon's obviously the obvious pick, right? The only undefeated team, number 1 in the country. Even though Miami just lost, I really like Miami. Their offense is elite. I mean, they have like the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
And this dude just keeps making plays.
Yeah. Yeah, their defense really needs to step up for them to like make any moves at all. But I don't know. I feel like them being ranked 14 is kind of like low, even though they have 2 losses. But I feel like they could make some noise if they when they make it in.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Texas is really another solid pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just like name the top 2 teams and be like, oh, these are the 2 best.
I mean, no, but you've seen throughout the year.
Oregon has looked the best.
Yeah, and I think another like sneaky team is Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because the thing with them is they have their defense. It's actually reversed. Usually with them, it's their offense is really explosive. Their defense is one of the best in college football this year.
Yeah.
Also, I wish Colorado was in the Big 12 championship because I really do think I am a Colorado bandwagon fan, but I really do think they would be able to compete with not like Oregon, Texas, like some of these teams. But I think they could give some of these top 12 or whatever teams a legit run.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we saw them play Nebraska though, and they got destroyed.
Exactly. So
I just don't think their offensive line is good enough to compete with some of these other teams.
I mean, that's exactly like there's so many questions. But
nor is their defense good.
Yeah, no, their defense has gotten better, but it's not. I think it's one more. I mean, we've seen the progression with just recruitment with Deion, so we know they're going to get the talent. It's just, can they all play together?
Yeah, I bet you he's going to stay now that they got that quarterback.
Oh, totally. Julian Lewis? Yeah, no. They're staying. He's definitely staying.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about, because I've been seeing a bunch of stuff on my Instagram about the Heisman. Do you think they should do a do you think Travis Hunter's giving favors because
he's more popular?
Yeah.
I mean, I think from the casual fan, he definitely is. I bet you if you go on social media like Twitter or Instagram, you'll see big movement for him to win Heisman because he
so dominant on both sides.
Yeah, but I don't know. If you look up the stats, he's not. I understand that he's playing both sides, but he's not really the best on. it's hard to say that to him, like to say that about him, because we haven't really seen anybody do this ever since
but
Deion. So
it's not like, I get what you're saying. Like, if you look at the stats, Genty's number one in every rushing running back category.
Yeah, and he's the only reason this Boise State team is like relevant whatsoever.
Exactly. And if you look at Travis, I think he's top 5 in the nation in touchdowns. He's got 15 for a tight end, but he also got, or for a wide receiver. But he's only got like 3 or 4 interceptions, which...
The thing about him, though, it's so impressive for him to be on the field that much.
Exactly.
Like, nobody else in the country.
He usually locks down one side of the field. Like, it's usually a no-fly zone.
Yeah, and it's... Nobody else in the entire country has the expectations that, like, we put on him. Like, I don't know. I think that if he, like, wasn't this super popular, like, social media, like, presence wasn't super popular because of Deion Sanders, I feel like he would get a lot more credit. There's this new trend going around when stuff becomes popular, all of a sudden you can't like it anymore. Travis Hunter's like one of the most popular people on the planet, or in the country right now. And once something becomes popular, it just becomes this movement on social media for you to can't like it anymore.
I've been seeing, I saw on Monday night, Pat Surtain was wearing a Heisman, like a Travis Hunter Heisman shirt.
Yeah.
And then the other day, DeAndre Jordan was wearing a Travis Hunter shirt in practice. So.
Yeah.
And Colorado, like football, Instagram was posting it, so it's starting to get bigger and bigger. And also, I feel like with Genty is really only for college football, like fans.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter goes on live streams with Kai Cenat.
Yeah.
And then he does those he practices his touchdowns because he knows he's going to score that week. He's like, I'm going to score, give me a touch, and does them. So like for a younger kid who's not our age, who's like younger and watches Kai, like a streamer, for him seeing that, it's cooler because you're like, wow, that guy did a dance of my favorite. You know what I mean? He connects a lot more with social media than Genty, where Genty just bullies people.
Yeah, I think Travis Hunter has the
charisma.
He has that, but also like the Colorado PR. Plus, he's been popular since he was in high school.
Exactly.
And he's done a great job of like reaching into the culture, and he's like more than football now. Where I feel like you were right for Ashton Genty. We only associate him with football. With Travis, we associate him with so much more.
Yeah. He's not. I think he's a lot like Deion.
Yeah.
Deion was not only a superstar; he was a great athlete and a great personality, and he still is.
Yep.
He's still. I think he's one of the best athletes of all time. If not, I think it's got to be either him or Bo Jackson. But that's another discussion. Because of just how dominant they are. But yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff where, like, I would like to see, because one of these generational talents is going to get robbed of Heisman.
Yeah.
No matter who it is, it's either going to be Genty, the best running back, arguably we've ever seen. Do you think he's going to break Barry Sanders' rushing record?
I don't know. That's going to be some tough.
It depends. It depends.
A lot of these games, he doesn't even play the fourth quarter.
He doesn't even play the second half.
Yeah, because they just blow teams out.
Exactly. So it's got to be one.
Yeah.
How he does. They need to win this game, because if they don't win this game, they're not going to the playoff.
Yeah.
Because he needs at least 2 more. Because I think he's 300 something.
Yeah.
So he's got to get 2 at least, because there's 300 for him is even a lot. 2. I think he ran for 270 or something, is like this high for the year or something.
Yeah.
So I think he needs at least 2 games. But I think that would be really cool. I mean, I think if he breaks Sanders' record, which was kind of like the Kareem scoring record, which was thought of to never be touched, I feel like he has to win it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a Colorado bandwagon and Travis Hunter guy, he broke a record that's not ever was never.
Well, it's not really a record. It's just like a standard for an athlete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now we can kind of talk about we can talk about Thanksgiving football. We can talk about my stupid Chicago Bears head coach, because he doesn't know how to facilitate in the fourth quarter. Sorry for yelling into the microphone. I'm getting my point across. Luke, what do you think of him being fired?
I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a win for a lot of Chicago. I've never seen a coach being fired be celebrated so much, even by Bears fans, which is like interesting because this is like the first time ever a Bears coach has been fired halfway through the season. But yeah, I saw a lot of my Bears friends like celebrate, even though the play that like kind of push it over the edge. It was his fault, but Caleb should have known how much time was on the clock.
Like,
it was just a miscommunication, which we've seen all year with this team. And
exactly.
I think
this whole team is a miscommunication.
The other thing that didn't help him was after the game, he said that they thought they handled it well.
And then he goes, oh my God. And then he goes on to say, well, we got to call a timeout there at 7 seconds. Wait, no, actually 12 seconds. First of all, if you're saying a time you have to call a timeout, call a timeout then. Don't say, we handled it correctly. I mean, you get down to 7, 10 seconds, we got to call a timeout. Then call a timeout. You didn't call a timeout. You let the play run, which I understand, yes, it is, Caleb, he should have known. Someone should have been in his headset yelling, either hike it, get quick play, or we try and kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Because you have an accurate kicker, but Santos doesn't have a crazy leg like a lot of these guys. He's accurate, but he's not crazy. He's not crazy distance. So you obviously want to try to get a 7-yard play there to move it up. But I think you can't. He's always done where he doesn't accept like that he's wrong. You need to. If you're a coach, every great coach has accepted. Yeah, I kind of messed up here. Eberflus never did that. He was an idiot. And thank the Lord we fired Shane Waldron, because if he was still there, I go into every game now expecting the Bears to lose. I'm just as excited to watch Caleb Williams because he's looked good with Thomas Brown, and he's the only reason why I'm watching them. And I'm like I don't care if we lose, whatever, I don't care. Caleb's looked good. I think this job is going to be a very well-seeked job in the offseason just because of the talent with not only Caleb but the talent around him.
Yeah.
The money. They got $80 million in cap coming up, and they have 3 draft picks in the top 55. So you have draft picks and you have the talent. So I'm not worried about that. Right now I'm only worried on Caleb, and Caleb has looked good because if Waldron was here, I would lose my mind, because not only does our team suck, our offensive coordinator is making our quarterback look like who is supposed to be the next Tom, that next kind of guy, and our offensive coordinator is ruining him. But Thomas Brown, one, I think the players like him way more than Eberflus.
Yeah.
And two, he knows he gives my quarterback confidence, which a rookie, I feel like you should only be giving him confidence. You shouldn't just be like, oh, you idiot, you got to do that.
Yeah.
I play Madden, and I know that all you got to do is be like, come on, let's go. You got this, whatever, Bob. You don't just tell him you're an idiot. You don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Thomas Brown, depending on how, I think he's got a good argument depending on how Caleb looks in the offense. So maybe he'll be back next year.
Yeah.
Not as a head coach, maybe as the offensive coordinator. But still, I feel like just with the way, I know you're not a Bears fan, but just the way that Caleb's been playing with him,
I picked him up for fantasy this week.
Yeah,
for one of my leagues.
You see with how just confident he is.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see that Waldron, I feel like, did a terrible job of bottling up his Superman abilities. Brown has done a good job of being, okay, Caleb, I know you have those. We don't want to use those, but if you have to, use them. And Caleb understood that. He only does it when he needs to do it. He doesn't force it. He doesn't do those crazy plays a lot earlier in the year. So, sorry, that was a little bit of a ramble, but I was very happy to see that man leave my city because I love the Bears. I love Chicago, and he was a disgrace. He was almost as bad as. Do you remember Mark Trestman?
No.
You don't want to. This dude was awful. They can't get. Oh my God! If you're a head coach in the NFL, you need to be able to get people behind you. You need to be able to be a leader. These two people were actual idiots. They couldn't. Oh my God! Talk when they were talking in the press conferences. It's like, yeah, we, I thought we did it good. Oh, and then Eberflus with his stupid. Do you remember the hits thing that he's trying to? The slogan he was trying to do a hits thing. I don't even know. It was stupid. But guess what? Moral of the story: he's out. I'm a Bears fan still. He's not. He's a dummy. He's a dummy. And I'm happy that he's gone because he's not ruining my team, and I don't have to hear his stupid voice in the post game interviews about how he was never wrong. When if you're a coach, I don't care what level you're at, you need to admit when you're wrong. If you don't, one, your players aren't going to like you, which it was reported that Jalen Johnson absolutely lost his mind in the locker room on him, and it was so bad they had to pull Eberflus out of the locker room because Johnson got so mad. When your star cornerback, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, is yelling at your head coach, I feel like he shouldn't have even got on the plane, by the way. They should have left him in Detroit and just let him stay there. Oh, my God. It ruined my Thanksgiving. I was so thankful for Caleb Williams and how good he was, how he brought us back. I'm sorry I'm yelling in the microphone. He brought us back.
Don't listen to this with headphones.
Yeah, he brought us back. I was like, oh, my God, we may beat the best team. This is what the Bears do. They get me I go into the game, I'm like, we're not going to win. I stopped right after the Commanders game. I was like, all right, we're losing every other game of the year. I go in every game now expecting to lose, and then Caleb is so good, he gives me hope. I'm like, oh, my God, we're going to win. Or like, it's going to be a game. Brings us within 3. Brings us within 3, and then misery. I don't know. It's depressing.
It's interesting to hear people talk about that game like it was like a really solid game for the Bears.
It was a solid second half.
Yeah,
for the
it was
Bears.
a tale of two halves. They had like three first downs in all of the
teams
first
literally
half.
switched halves.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on with the Lions. They couldn't finish the possession. They were relying on their field goal kicker so much, but.
And then he missed that big field goal. That was a big one because
yeah.
I think it was the one that set up the Bears' potential game-winning drive.
No, I mean, but it was so weird to see them with their running game and like their weapons not be able to like finish off these possessions with touchdowns. I don't know if that's concerning for the Lions at all because they still won, but
I mean, I feel like
they played really well in that first half. They looked like the best team in the league in the first half.
I was like this. Yeah. I was gonna turn the game off.
I felt like Caleb was never even on the field the first half, and then the second half, I feel like Jared Goff was never on the field. It was such a weird game.
I know that's why we love sports, right?
Yeah.
It's a tale of it's unexpected stuff. But sorry, I got a little frustrated back a few seconds ago about Matty Rufusa and stuff. But I do think that like. This is going to be intriguing to see who they hire.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like this is one of the most intriguing jobs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because last year, right, I really do think, one, they should have fired Eberflus. I shouldn't think they brought him back. But now you have Caleb. You can develop. You have a plethora of weapons with Rome, who, by the way, is a good receiver. You're starting to finally see them use Keenan Allen and DJ Moore now.
That one route he had on the touchdown.
Oh my God.
It was so good.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, that was vintage Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
And like we're saying, like he's not still in his he didn't just have one of his career best years last year. So I really like where this team's headed, and I really like where Caleb's headed. But sorry, I was kind of very frustrated about that dude's tenure with the Bears.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to talk about Bradley, or do you want to talk about the Packers?
We can do the Packers. I mean, I feel like that's fair, right?
Yeah.
I deserve it.
I feel like we always do rants on both teams.
I don't have anything to rant about. I mean, I'm not angry.
You guys
we're kind of hitting our stride a little bit here. I mean, people could blame it on the fact that the Dolphins can't play in anything but 70-degree weather, but I mean, we looked really good. Jacobs looked amazing, just running through that defense. And yeah, I mean, Love looked good. Finally, didn't throw a pick, and he hasn't thrown a pick the past 2 weeks. Let's be honest. Now it's Kirk Cousins who's the leader of the interception, so you can't say that to me anymore.
He has been.
Yeah, but
do you think I saw something? Do you think they should give Penix a shot?
I don't know. I mean, Kirk looked good for a while there, but
exactly.
I mean,
past,
one bad
3
game
or 4 games.
I feel like
3 games. Sorry, I think it was.
If they see, I don't know. I feel like they still could win their division.
Because the NFC South is so like they're 6-6 and they're division leaders.
Yeah, but back to the Packers. Yeah, all of our receivers looked good. I mean, Jaden Reed looked good. I was wearing my jersey and we just kind of looked in stride. It looked like for the first time in a while we had like good chemistry together. I feel like the bye week kind of helped us out a lot to get our stuff together. And I do think we're going to make a pretty good run. This is a big game tomorrow against the Lions.
It's also going to be a good game too.
Yeah, it's going to be a good litmus test.
Last time,
both teams.
Last time they played, the Lions kind of messed you guys up. But yeah. I feel like you said, the Packers looked good.
Jordan Love was hurt that game.
Exactly.
Let's just get off the record. He's not hurt anymore, and he looks great. I understand that the Dolphins aren't very good, but still.
But like, I think it's a good game because even though like people's like the Bears are not great, this is still, I feel like, the toughest division in football.
Oh yeah. I feel like if the Bears were in any other division, they would have a winning record right now.
Exactly. Like I feel like the Bears are a good 4-8 team.
Like imagine that they switched places with the Falcons. They would definitely like be favored to win their division right now.
I know. I wish that was live. But I guess in a sense, when you're in this division and you make the playoffs, you feel even more confident.
Yeah.
Because you're more battle tested.
But the NFC North is like guaranteed to have 3 playoff teams now. So.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
not guaranteed, but like,
I mean, it's
almost basically.
You have what? Packers have 3 losses?
Yeah, we're 9-3. So are the Vikings, and then
you literally go subtract 1 by the last 3 places of how many losses. It goes 3-2-1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the Vikings are 11-2, right?
Yeah.
Because we're 10-3.
Yeah.
So right. Yeah, I think we can beat the Vikings. I know we can beat the Bears.
I don't think the Vikings are.
When we played them the first time, Jordan Love was still hurt. And I just think that we're a whole new team now. We always just seem to have this thing where our season started off so weird in Brazil, and it's kind of just like set us off on the wrong foot. And I feel like we've kind of like regrouped. We have one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah, LaFleur's.
And I really think that like we're hitting our stride at the right time. We're kind of peaking right now, and we just got to keep that going into the new year.
I wish that the Bears could nail a head coaching hire.
Yeah.
I mean, their last head coaching hire they hit was Lovie Smith. Like
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to say Nagy because he had one good year.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's not. And like Eberflus had one half.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like coaches aren't the whole thing though. I feel like the Bears don't have the foundation that the Packers have going in. I feel like the system was set up a lot more for LaFleur because coming off of McCarthy, I know he's kind of like a meme now in the Cowboys, but he was a good coach. I mean, he did have Aaron Rodgers. That's the other thing with LaFleur. He came into prime Aaron Rodgers, double MVP, back-to-back MVP, Aaron Rodgers. So that definitely helped him out.
That also probably gave him more confidence in believing in himself, too.
Also, and then like people were like, all right, yeah, he's just going to listen to Rodgers, whatever. But I think this year LaFleur's kind of been like unleashed because he had to do all that schematic stuff with
Willis.
Yeah, Malik Willis. So, yeah, I do think that all of his guys support him, and even with Dobbs and Jair Alexander out, we're still beating these teams. So we're not even at full strength.
Yeah, that's a good look for you guys.
Second best receiver, third best receiver, and the best cornerback. So
exactly. So you guys are in them.
Yeah, we're in a good spot. Good spot.
I wish I could.
You're all right. You got next year, and the draft. You guys gonna have a good pick again.
I got till April. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have Caleb.
The draft is in Green Bay too.
Like I know that. Like this, like the. Caleb is just exciting and intriguing to watch for me. But, yeah, we can kind of talk. I want to talk about college basketball because I'm also an Illinois fan, in case you guys didn't know. So watching the Illinois absolutely destroy Arkansas on Thanksgiving was nice.
Yeah.
The game was a little close. The score was closer than the game was. Illinois started out like on a 17-2 run or something. They were done, and then it got within 10, but Illinois pulled away. But I wanted to ask Bradley. By the way, won on last night, Tuesday.
It was last night. Yeah.
They're 8-1.
Yep.
I want to ask: do you think, because Drake is undefeated, do you think Drake is legit, or do you think?
I don't know. I haven't watched any of their games. Unfortunately,
they've played no great teams. Like
neither is Bradley's. So.
Yeah, like Bradley's best game was Washington State. They lost. I think Drake's best game was Vanderbilt, and they beat him. But so many people weren't talking about Drake because their coach came from D2, and he brought a bunch of his D2 guys. But we kind of we've seen his, I don't know, like his not skill, but like the players have developed. They got a Valley. I was watching the broadcast yesterday for the Bradley game.
They played Miami. They beat Miami. So I don't know how good Miami is, but it's still Miami. And Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic's good too, or at least they were at some point.
I don't think Florida Atlantic is too good this year, but Miami's actually a nice win.
Yeah. They beat Georgia Southern on Saturday.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited. I really do think the Valley's going to be a good conference.
That game's going to be. We're going to go to that game.
Yeah.
If it's not over break, we're going to go.
Luke and I are game buddies, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I really do think that's going to be an interesting game because Bradley's one of the faster paced teams in, I think, all of college. Just watching them, they move the ball up the court fast, and they shoot the threes. Like
Yes.
they're a three-point shooting team.
So the Bradley and Drake game is on the 8th, so we will not be in school.
Is it
January
here?
8th. Yep. Yeah. We will not be here.
I may drive down to see that.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll watch it on TV.
Yeah. But no, I think Bradley's a very scary team because they're starting to pick up their flow.
Yeah. I mean, we blew out.
I know it's Southern Illinois, and they're not a great team.
That's a Valley win, isn't it?
That's the first conference win, which is what we need, especially now with. I mean, we still have a while till still official conference season starts.
Yeah.
But one, it
we
boosts
beat by
confidence.
23.
Yeah.
And Duke Dean was Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah, and he got hurt.
Did he actually?
He left the game early.
Damn.
But also, it's Southern Illinois.
Yeah, I don't know.
So they maybe just be like, all right, maybe he's not 100%. He could probably play, but we're just not going to risk it.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather have him for one of those bigger games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. I like Bradley had, like, they kind of showed last night. Zeke Montgomery had
22.
Yeah, he had, I think, 17 at halftime.
5 for 6 from 3-point.
So
18 first half points.
Yeah, so, like, they're this is why, and I know I've said this before, but this is why they're so good and so scary is because literally anybody can go off that day and beat you.
Yeah, we have a lot of
deep.
good guys.
So
We got to make our free throws, though. 70% from the free throw line is just not going to get it done.
You have to make free throw. It's called free throws for a reason. It's free. It's literally free, man. Sorry, I was kind of yawning, guys.
Yeah, we free throw. Yeah, we were 70%. Against Middle Tennessee, we were 100%, 12 for 12.
That Middle Tennessee game, that game was also. Middle Tennessee is a good. I was watching that broadcast. Middle Tennessee is a good mid-major team.
Yeah.
And so was Wright State actually, because they just won the Myrtle Beach Invitational. That was a good mid-major tournament. There were a lot of like scary mid-major teams. I think they did a great job. They also beat them all with relative. I mean, except for Wright State, that was a close game. But every other game I felt in that tournament, they looked like they had control of it. And like to add on to my point about how they're such a deep team, Christian Davis won the MVP of that tournament.
Yep. He's not even our star player.
Exactly. So like, if that's why they're so scary.
No, Bradley is not the only game that they shot over 80% from the free throw was the Middle Tennessee game when they went for 12 for 12. But like Texas State, 16 for 26. Like that, just like that type of stuff. I bet you coach is harping on them. Yeah, I bet he's harping them on that because free throws win games. It's
like we've seen that. That's been an issue with
free throws win and lose games. You miss a lot of free throws, you're probably gonna lose.
Exactly. I mean that was the issue with Illinois when they lost to Alabama. They missed like 12 free throws.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing the game by like around 15 or no, maybe it was 30, something around the low teens. So free throws are, I mean, literally free points. So you kind of need to hit those.
Yeah.
But I also think Bradley, we saw it yesterday. I'm not saying start every game out on a run, but they also played really good defense. They were boxing out, and that's another thing. Offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds win games too, because if you win not only just the rebound battle, but also if you can get what would you say 10 offensive rebounds? I mean even that's a lot. Like I'm just saying, like what do you think is a good number? Because offensive rebounds are so.
We had 7.
Like I feel like offensive rebounds are so big because. You give your team more opportunities, and like Bradley, they were shooting really well, especially in the first half. I think they scored 50 in the first half, which is a lot. But I really do think rebounding is a big thing for Bradley because they have some height, but they're not a crazy big team. Yeah, like what Darius Hannah is 6'9", 6'10". So like you don't have a crazy big center, so you gotta.
Yeah, but Jonovich will come in and get some rebounds.
Exactly. So
as long as he doesn't get into foul trouble.
Yeah.
That's his one Achilles heel.
Yeah, that and I mean this is just him being big. He just is kind of trailing sometimes just because
Yeah.
he's bigger.
But he's pretty big, and he'll box people out and get some rebounds.
Exactly. So I think if you get the more rebounds you just get in general, because even defensive rebounds, yes, you're gonna definitely get more defensive rebounds, but
Yeah.
if you can limit the other team from getting second chance opportunities, that's kind of you know
Yep.
what I think Bradley needs to do, because realistically, being a mid-major team, you're never going to be that. Unless it's like a rare case where you have that like John Morant sort of person where you just need one person to go off.
Mm-hmm.
You need to kind of be good at all the little stuff in the games, whereas like these schools like Duke, Wisconsin, all these bigger schools, they don't really need to. I mean, obviously they work on it, they got to be good at it,
Mm-hmm.
but they have kind of a brace with all their players and star players.
Yeah.
Where here, I mean, yes, we have Duke Dean, like our star player, and I put air quotes not because Duke Dean isn't good, but because anyone on any given day for us can be a star player for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that they just got to work on basketball as a whole, rather because I don't know if that makes sense.
They got to work on basketball as a whole. That's your advice.
Like,
got to work on basketball.
Like, I don't know how to say it, but like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
So what I'm saying is, listen, the guy, like the big schools, like the D1 schools, are a lot, I feel like sometimes, especially those younger, like Duke, where it's a lot of freshmen and newcomers, where Bradley has 6 returning players. They are a lot less careless with the ball and in general with like shooting, taking one pass up court and then shooting it, where I feel like Bradley, I think Bradley's good at it, but I feel like if you want to compete against these teams, you have to be, one, smart with ball movement and stuff, and I feel like a lot of these teams that get all these star players, these star recruits, these teams, especially those guys, are a lot careless and dumb, and I feel like Bradley
isn't that.
Gotcha. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know why it took me so long to get to that, but I don't know. It's just that kind of day. We have a study day today, guys, so we didn't have any classes. We were studying for finals.
Yep.
But that's all I had for today. Is there any other?
Now to talk NBA.
Yeah, well, let's talk NBA.
Group stage action ended last night
for the NBA Cup. Yep.
So Bucks went 4-0.
Bucks went 4-0.
Bucks did go 4-0. We're back. We're so back. I went from. We're back. All right. We've won 9 of our last 10, so we're 9-1 in our last 10 games. We were 2-8 in our first 10 games, and we're 9-1 in our last 10. So we are, what is that, 11-10? 11-9. 11-9.
Which is a big comeback.
This is a big jump from being 2-8. So
yeah.
And people were saying we were lost and we should fire Doc Rivers. We should blow the team up. Trade Giannis.
I was never that like.
Giannis should be the MVP, by the way.
Giannis is leading the league in points per game.
He should be the MVP. I mean, I know Jokic, like all these like stat heads, but Jokic is crazy just because the on-off numbers, when he's on the team, they're like the greatest offense of all time.
When he's not.
And he's off, they're like the worst offense ever. It's unbelievable how much of an impact he has. Like, take Jokic off of that Nuggets team, they're literally like the worst team in the league.
Oh my gosh.
They are so bad.
Well, because it's not only does Jokic score, he opens up the floor for everybody.
That's his biggest strength. People are so scared of his passing that I think Jokic, if he wanted to, could like score 40 every single night, but like he just isn't that type of player. Like if he had James Harden mentality, I actually think that he's so dominant and like did you see the fake he had on Curry where he like faked him and Curry was completely turned around for like 2 seconds? Jokic was like, "What are you doing, man?" and just shot like a mid-range.
Exactly.
It was unbelievable, like the presence that he has on the court. But when the NBA released their MVP power rankings, Giannis wasn't even top 5. I was like, oh my gosh. I understand that their record is bad, but this dude is having a generational
year. That's the
year.
thing with
like NBA, last year,
like voting and stuff is all they care about is winning.
Last year Giannis shot for the first time ever, was the first person since Wilt to shoot 60% from the field and score 30 points a game. And he just got no recognition for it whatsoever. Now he's going to do it again for the second year in a row. And last night against this really good Pistons team, he shoots 10 for 10, his first 10 shots, and most of them were jump shots. And he goes off for a 28, 13-7 game. And it's just, and Dame has 27. And when those two are both clicking, we're dangerous. We are dangerous. I'm not saying we're like the best team in the league, like we have been in years past, but we're dangerous. I mean, give Giannis in like a 7-game series, he can like drag this team to 4 wins.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Giannis and Jokic have a lot similar where they can kind of bring your teams to wins.
Yeah, that's why they're great.
Yeah,
greatness.
But I feel like when you were saying how Giannis wasn't in the top 5, that's the whole thing with a bunch with all
Just narrative.
MVP voting.
But to be fair, they were 2-8 at one point, and they were not winning games. So I understand. Like you don't want to put a guy whose team is 6 games under 500 on there.
Exactly.
So, but now that they're winning games again, and I think that he should be top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that
similar to what I said about Jokic, you take Giannis off this Bucks team, we're one of the worst teams in the league.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. You said like the James Harden mentality. James Harden is also kind of.
Oh yeah, he's tearing it up.
And I love to see that.
Yeah.
He's looked good.
Yeah.
Because I think not having Kawhi is a good thing for the Clippers.
Well,
like not.
I get it. Okay, they said when they lost Paul George, Norman Powell literally said addition by subtraction.
Exactly.
Like that's a crazy thing to say. And Norman Powell's been on here this season.
Yeah.
And everything's been kind of working because, like, James Harden just kind of has the ball a lot, and he can, like, kind of do all the stuff he did in Houston.
Of setting up team.
He has so many assists.
Exactly.
And
I feel like a lot in Houston, he would always give you 40. He wouldn't. I mean, he would give triple doubles, but right now he's giving you more 20-something and 11 assists.
He doesn't have the same like burst he had to like get around people and go to the rim. He relies on the step back is still super reliable, but he's definitely more of a creator point guard type James Harden in this phase of his career.
Yeah, totally. And they also have one of the best coaches. Ty Lue is.
And their defense is really good. They have the 4th best defense in the league.
Ty Lue is one of the most underrated coaches, and I feel like that's just because he's on the Clippers and no one talks about the Clippers.
They also credit his success to LeBron.
Which is we've seen not true.
Yeah.
And I feel like he still kind of didn't get as much credit because they still had Kawhi and
PG.
Yeah, and now, I mean, like, a lot of people are saying you have a quote-unquote washed Harden.
I don't know. He's played good. But all-star level for sure.
Exactly. And Norman Powell, I think, should win. I mean, I know it's earlier in the season, but I think he's most improved player of the year.
Yeah, maybe. But, I mean...
There's also Dyson Daniels.
Well, most improved is a weird award because... He's getting the same amount of minutes he did last year. He's just getting the ball more. So, like, usually when you get more minutes and get the ball more, your stuff's going to go up. So it's a lot of times, like, Daniels is a good one where he didn't play at all.
The league
in steals. He has so many steals.
And I think he's is he averaging 3? Last I saw he was 3.
Averaging 3 a game. And you watch him, he just, like, he's tapping the ball everywhere. He's all over the place.
He was a lottery pick, but he never... He also got put in a weird position in New Orleans where they had DeJounte and...
Well, they had Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, and Trey Murphy all in front of him, so he never really got.
He got in a weird position.
Yeah, and we can see now from New Orleans that's a dysfunctional franchise.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I feel like, I mean, AD was good on the Pelicans, but I feel like you've seen him succeed a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, he had his best statistical years technically on the Pelicans, but he won the most on the Lakers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but no, Dyson Daniels, I feel like because he's also isn't he averaging? 12.
Here I can look. He is averaging 13, 5, and 3. Let's look at the steals, which is a lot better, which is way better than his career.
Yeah. Last I saw, he was averaging 3.4 steals a game.
Yeah, yep. He, in 20 games with Atlanta, he is averaging, let's look, 13 points, 3.1 steals, which leads the league, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds.
Like, that's crazy. Dude is averaging the same amount of assists and steals.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like,
he's shooting 28% from 3, though, which is really bad, and 40% from... But he is... what do they call him? They have a really good nickname for him.
Wait, I know what you're talking about. I've heard it.
It's, like, really new.
Yeah, the Bandit? No.
The Great Barrier Thief.
Yes,
that's what it is, because he's from Australia, and the Great Barrier Reef is in Australia, and now they call him the Great Barrier Thief. That's a really good nickname.
That is a good nickname.
That's a really good nickname.
But, yeah, I mean, how are the Hawks this year? I feel like no one... They're okay, right?
Yeah, Trae Young's having a really good year as well.
We didn't even talk about him about good
years. He's doing really well. Yeah.
Because I was about to say, I feel like Daniels...
They're 11-11. 6 in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, so pretty solid.
I feel like Daniels will be a big contributor if they make the playoffs.
Yep.
Because you can... I would love to see him versus Drew Holiday. I would love to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because Drew Holiday's, he's a good defender, but I feel like he's not as much of a steals guy as Daniels is, where he's a lot more get in your face, face guard, stuff like that.
Lock you down type guy.
Yeah,
not like
where Daniels
steal.
is a lot more
poke the ball away.
Poke, yeah, like he goes a lot. He's a lot risk it for the biscuit, if you know what I mean. Like he's gonna guard you, and he's a good defender, but he's gonna risk a lot more with getting the ball. Because if you go for a steal and you miss the ball, they have a free lane basically.
Yeah. So
I really am interested to see how he looks. Also, I kind of want to talk about the Bulls. Giddey they're like a quietly decent team. Giddey has looked good. He got his first triple-double with the Bulls.
Yeah.
But he also has 15 double-doubles on the season, which is really good. I mean, the Bulls they're 8th in the East. They're 9-13.
Which is like actually better than expected for them.
Exactly.
I figured they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league.
I thought they
They're
were
definitely
too.
going to make the play-in.
Yeah, which kind of sucks because we want to try and get a decent player, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel because like
I can't believe 9-13 is like 9th in the East. That's how bad the Eastern Conference
the East
is this year.
Awful.
Yeah.
By the way, Philly is so bad. I feel you know who needs to get out of Philly? Tyrese Maxey, dude.
I mean, yeah, but
like I'm just saying just because he's doing so well and no one's.
Yeah.
I mean, also, but Jared McCain's doing really well too.
Yeah.
So like they have pieces.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to. It's way too early in this Paul George and Embiid experience to give up on it.
Yeah.
But it's not looking too good. But back to the Bulls. Sorry. No, Giddey has been a really good addition. I didn't think he was going to do this good. He has 15 double-doubles. He's got his one triple-double. And, yeah, we talked about this earlier in the year. They're a lot like Bradley, where they're a 3-and-D team. They shoot the three. If they're not making a three ball, if they're not making the three, they're not going to win. Or not going to be in the game.
Yeah, I wonder if with this like sort of success if they're gonna trade
exactly.
Levine
I'm
or
really
Vucevic.
interested.
I bet you they'll trade Vucevic still.
I'm really interested to see what they do at the trade deadline because also Buzelis has looked good recently.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I felt really good with them drafting him. He looked interesting and exciting. But yeah, I don't know. I want to look at the West right now, to see like. The 8th seed in the West is 11-8.
Yeah, and that would be better than the Bucks record right now.
Jeez, bro, dude. Also, no one's talking about the Rockets are 2nd in the West right now.
Yeah,
they're 15. It's Jalen Green has been on the like consistent come up.
Yeah.
The thing with him though is he's a lot more score, not really do anything else.
I mean, he plays defense.
True. But, like, I feel like, whatever. I'm not going to get in an argument about it. But, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
he's a score-first player. I mean, like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he always been, even in high school.
In high school. He didn't go to... He went to G League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yep.
And that was during the weird COVID year, too. So
he averaged 20 points a game in the G League as an 18-year-old kid. So, I mean, like, that's, like, unbelievable. That's like one of us stepping in the G League and, like, going crazy.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
You're 18 still, right?
19.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because, guys, it was Luke's birthday when we posted the podcast.
Yeah.
What, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, thank you guys again for listening.
Yeah.
We're going to be on a little bit of a break because this is our last podcast. We got a winter break coming up. Maybe we'll try and do a Zoom one, but that might be hard.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't even know how that works. I don't have a mic.
Yeah, we would have to buy it. So
yeah.
We'll probably won't see you guys till next year.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for our first semester of listening. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed making it.
Yep.
Luke, you got anything else to say to them?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thank you.